You might have noticed things aren't quite like they used to be down there. Maybe getting a strong erection takes more effort. Or maybe it just doesn't feel as firm as it once did. It's a common worry, one that many men our age share. But it can feel really isolating to talk about. You start to wonder if it's just age, or maybe something more serious. The truth is, while age does bring changes, there's a less discussed factor that many men unknowingly contribute to. Something they've been doing for years, perhaps without thinking twice about its impact. It's not talked about openly, and it's certainly not something you'd bring up at the dinner table. But from my perspective as someone who spends a lot of time understanding how the male anatomy works, particularly when things aren't working right, I see a pattern, a quiet consequence of a specific habit. It's a mistake made during a very private moment. And over time, it can silently erode your ability to get and keep a strong erection. It's a painful reality for many, leading to frustration, anxiety, and a feeling of losing a vital part of yourself. In this video, I want to share with you this specific mistake I frequently see the effects of and, more importantly, what you can do about it. It's about understanding your body and making a simple adjustment that can make a world of difference. Watch to the end, because what you learn might surprise you. Let's talk about this common practice, something almost all men engage in at some point, or regularly throughout their lives: masturbation. It's a natural, healthy part of being male. But like anything, how you do it matters. And there's a particular way of doing it that, over decades, can cause problems. Think about it. For years, maybe since you were a teenager, you've likely developed a preferred method. This method often involves a firm grip, a fast pace, and perhaps focusing heavily on external stimulation. Using your hand in a very specific, often vigorous way. It feels good, right? It gets the job done. But here's where the problem starts. The penis is an incredibly sensitive organ, packed with nerves and blood vessels. When you repeatedly use a very firm, often dry grip, especially with rapid, aggressive strokes, you are essentially desensitizing the nerve endings over time. It's like if you constantly rubbed your hand vigorously on sandpaper. Eventually, that part of your hand would become tougher, less sensitive to touch. The nerves are there to respond to gentle, pleasurable stimulation. When they are constantly bombarded with high pressure, high friction movements, they adapt by becoming less responsive. This desensitization means that your brain starts needing more and more intense physical stimulation to reach the same level of arousal and trigger an erection. You might find that getting an erection during intercourse, which typically involves softer, less consistent, and more varied stimulation, becomes difficult or impossible. Your body has learned to respond to one very specific, often artificial, type of sensation. This isn't just about nerve endings becoming dull. It's also about the physical tissues, the skin, the underlying tissues. Even the delicate blood vessels can be affected by constant, aggressive friction. While the penis is resilient, it's not indestructible. Over years and years, this repetitive microtrauma can contribute to changes in the tissue itself. It might lead to a less flexible, less elastic tissue, or even subtle changes in the vascular system, which is absolutely crucial for achieving and maintaining an erection. Remember, an erection is primarily a hydraulic event, blood rushing into the spongy tissues of the penis. If the blood vessels aren't functioning optimally, or if the tissues themselves are compromised, that rush of blood can be less effective, leading to a softer erection or difficulty keeping it firm. Another aspect of this is the purely mechanical nature of the technique many men develop. It's often divorced from true psychological or emotional arousal. It becomes a purely physical act aimed at a quick climax. This trains the brain and body to associate sexual response primarily with that intense, specific physical stimulus, rather than with the broader, more nuanced inputs involved in intimacy with a partner. Things like touch, smell, emotional connection, or even just kissing and cuddling. So, when you're in a situation with a partner, your brain might not be receiving the right signals that it's been conditioned to respond to for achieving an erection. It's like trying to start a car with a key that only works on a specific, modified ignition switch you built in your garage, and then being confused when the regular ignition in your partner's car doesn't work. This habit, developed over years of private practice, often starts subtly. You might first notice you need a bit more pressure, or that it takes a little longer to reach climax. Then, you might find that getting hard during sex isn't as easy as it is when you're alone. Eventually, the difficulty can extend to getting hard even when you are alone using your usual method. It's a gradual decline, a silent progression that many men don't connect back to this specific behavior. They might blame age, stress, or other health issues, and while those can certainly play a role, this particular habit is a significant, often overlooked, contributing factor. It's not about guilt or shame. It's about understanding how your body works and recognizing that a habit formed decades ago, perhaps when your body was more resilient, might now be working against you as you get older. The good news is that understanding the problem is the first step, and it opens the door to solutions. Changing this long-standing habit might sound daunting, but it's absolutely possible to retrain your body and brain. It requires patience and a willingness to explore different ways of experiencing pleasure. The goal is to shift away from reliance on intense, singular, mechanical stimulation towards a more varied, gentler, and potentially more sensual approach. Think about trying to make the experience more akin to the kind of stimulation you would receive from a partner. This means using less pressure, exploring different textures, maybe using a lubricant to reduce harsh friction, and varying the speed and rhythm. It's about reconnecting with the natural sensitivity of your penis, allowing those nerve endings to recover and become more responsive to lighter, more pleasurable touches. It's also about bringing back the element of arousal that goes beyond just the physical act. It's not just about changing the technique you use when you're alone. It's also about expanding your understanding of what causes an erection. As we age, factors like cardiovascular health become increasingly important for erectile function. So, while changing this habit is crucial, it's also part of a larger picture of maintaining overall health, but focusing specifically on this habit. The goal is to undo some of the desensitization and retrain your body's response. It's like rehabilitating a muscle that's been overused in one specific, damaging way. You need to rest it, and then retrain it to function in a healthier, more natural way. This means consciously reducing the intensity of your grip and the speed of the movement. Experiment with what feels pleasurable at a lower pressure. It might feel less immediately intense than what you're used to. And that's okay. The aim isn't just the quickest route to climax. It's about restoring sensitivity and promoting healthier blood flow to the area. Think of it as recalibrating your pleasure sensors. For years, they've been shouting to be heard over the noise of aggressive friction. Now, you want them to listen to a softer whisper. This transition can take time. You might initially find it harder to achieve orgasm with a gentler technique. Don't get discouraged. This is part of the process of retraining. It's your body adjusting to a new, healthier way of responding. Be patient with yourself. It took years for the habit to develop, and it might take weeks or months to see significant improvement in sensitivity and erectile function. But the potential rewards are immense, restoring your ability to get and maintain firmer erections, both when you are alone and with a partner, and reclaiming a part of your sexual health that you might have thought was lost forever to age. This change isn't just about the physical act. It's about enhancing your overall sexual well-being and confidence. It's about enjoying intimacy in a way that is sustainable and healthy for your body in the long run. Continuing on this path, the key is consistency and mindfulness. It's not about stopping masturbation altogether, unless that's a personal choice you make. It's about changing how you do it. Consciously focus on using a looser grip. Imagine your hand is barely touching the skin, providing just enough friction for pleasure without intense pressure. Explore using lubricants if you haven't before. A good quality. Water-based lubricant can significantly reduce friction and allow for a gentler, more natural glide. This can help protect the delicate tissues and allow nerve endings to become more sensitive again. Vary the techniques you use. Don't just stick to one repetitive motion. Explore different speeds, different areas of the penis, and incorporate more of your hand or fingers in different ways. The idea is to mimic the kind of varied stimulation that would occur during partnered sex. This helps your brain and body become more adaptable and responsive to a wider range of pleasurable inputs. Another aspect to consider is incorporating elements of foreplay. Even when you're alone, spend time focusing on arousal that isn't purely physical. This might involve looking at stimulating material, thinking about pleasurable scenarios, or focusing on the anticipation of pleasure before the physical act begins. This helps to integrate the mental and emotional components of arousal, which are just as important as the physical ones, especially as we get older. Relying solely on intense physical stimulation bypasses these crucial pathways in the brain. By consciously engaging your mind and emotions, you strengthen these connections and make it easier for your body to respond when you are aroused in other contexts, like with a partner. It's about broadening your body's definition of what leads to an erection. This change in habit can also have a positive psychological impact when you're no longer solely reliant on a specific, intense technique that might be failing you. The anxiety surrounding performance can decrease. The pressure is off. You're exploring a more natural, potentially more pleasurable way of experiencing your own body. This can lead to increased confidence, which in itself can improve erectile function. As anxiety is a major contributor to difficulties getting and staying hard, think of this as an investment in your sexual health and well-being for the years to come. It's not a quick fix, but it's a sustainable approach. It's important to acknowledge that for some men, deeply ingrained habits can be hard to break. If you find yourself automatically reverting to your old ways, don't be too hard on yourself. Just recognize it and gently redirect back to the gentler techniques. It takes conscious effort and practice, but it is achievable. Many men I've spoken with have found that by making these changes, not only does their erectile function improve, but their overall experience of pleasure becomes richer and more nuanced. They discover or rediscover levels of sensitivity they didn't realize they had lost. Beyond the specific technique, consider the environment and your mindset. Are you rushing the experience? Are you focused solely on the outcome? Try to relax and be present in the moment. Allow yourself to feel the sensations without judgment or pressure. This mindful approach can enhance both pleasure and function. Remember, the body and mind are deeply connected, and stress or anxiety about performance can directly impact your ability to get an erection. By making this personal time a more relaxed and pleasurable experience, rather than a high-pressure performance, you can reduce that anxiety. This change in mindset, combined with the physical adjustment in technique, creates a powerful synergy for improving erectile health. So, we've talked about the specific mistake, the long-term reliance on overly firm, rapid, and often dry manual stimulation. And we've explored why it can silently undermine erectile function over time. We've also discussed the vital importance of shifting towards gentler, more varied, and more mindfully engaged practices, incorporating lubricant and a wider range of touch to retrain your body's sensitivity and response. Changing a habit that you've had for possibly decades is not always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding when you see the benefits. Remember, the goal here isn't just about getting harder erections. It's about promoting healthier tissue, improving nerve sensitivity, and enhancing your overall sexual well-being and enjoyment. It's about reclaiming a part of your life and confidence that you might have felt was slipping away. This adjustment is a powerful step you can take for yourself, alongside other healthy lifestyle choices like exercise and managing stress, which also contribute significantly to erectile health. Don't let the fear or discomfort of changing a private habit hold you back. This is about empowering yourself with knowledge and taking proactive steps. It's a journey of rediscovery, both of your body's capabilities and of pleasure itself. Small, consistent changes really can make a big difference. Be patient, be kind to yourself, and celebrate the small improvements you notice along the way. Your body is remarkably capable of adapting and healing when given the right conditions. I truly hope this information has been helpful and eye-opening for you. It's a topic that affects so many men, but one that's rarely discussed with the openness it deserves. If you've experienced something similar, or if you're considering making these changes, I'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences in the comments section below. Sharing can help others realize they are not alone. If you found this video valuable and informative, please give it a like. Your support helps this important information reach more men who could benefit from it. And if you want to learn more about men's health, aging well, and living your best life at every age, make sure to subscribe to my channel. There's so much we can do to maintain our health and vitality as we get older. And I'm here to share practical, actionable insights. Thank you for watching. Remember, it's never too late to make positive changes that can significantly improve your health and happiness. Keep exploring, keep learning, and live your best life at every age.